some Superman things, 2 or 3 pages. And then I did the 12 pages of Batman for Jeff, but that just, it went out.
I mean, is there any character at Marvel or DC that you would like to get a crack at, even just for cover, or something even that maybe, you know?
Well, the Thing and the Hulk are always have been my favorite characters since I was a kid, so anytime I get a chance to draw them, I'm pretty happy. So I have one of those coming up with the Hulk anyway. I don't think I have a Thing drawing coming up. I just got the Wolverine now, Hulk one, and then, Baby X-Men. I have a Baby X-Men in the works, so gotta throw those in occasionally. With Mojo, who I always wanted to draw as Mojo. Yeah, Mojo's fun. Yeah. Maybe he'll be in a movie someday.
You have one of the Mojo figures at home?
You betcha.
All right, nice.
Yeah, every one.
My son is 14 and he's voraciously reading comic books. So he read through like the X-Men omnibuses 1 through 3,
Oh, sure.
and then I was pulling out like, so he read the Asgardian stuff, and then he's looking at the toys, and like he's buying a lot of these Marvel Legends figures, and he was like, oh, I wish I had like a really cool Hulk figure. And I said, just hold on a second, and I found the set that you had designs for.
Those are fun, yeah.
It was the Hulk, and like Joe Fix-It, and then he's like, I'm not going online, and he found the drawings that it was based on.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
And
those were a lot of fun to do. They didn't pay great, but they were still kind of neat to see that someone was able to figure them out. There was I think there's a Robo Hulk in there, where I designed like 4 different Robo Hulks, and the toy designers, like, fortunately, like, well, the hand on this one is good, and the head on this one's good, and the torso is good on that one. They put that all together. It's like, well, that is nice. So that's one of the few that's still on my shelf is the Robo Hulk. And I think one of the Hulks that I designed was like a Gladiator Hulk or something. They came with all kinds of accoutrements, and like just took those off, and was like, he looks good. He's got purple pants. He looks almost like I drew him, which is pretty amazing.
And it's kind of wild when you see your stuff like taken from a 2-dimensional drawing.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure you've had that with your guys.
Yeah.
Because I know there was those little plastic figures. I don't know if there have been much more than that, but I remember those little plastic figures were real nice. I have those around the house somewhere. I'm not sure where I put them. In a box in a shed somewhere. I'm pretty sure now where most of my stuff is.
All right, so it's I think the panel ends like 5 minutes. But if
We just have quiet time.
Yes, sir. The gray shirt.
I don't as much as I would like to. I've found recently that when I go to the comic book store, I'll buy almost everything, and then you just end up in a pile. Now I'll do it a couple months later, and there's another pile. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger.
Through the strata.
Yeah. So after about 10 years of that, I was like, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I've cut back on that because I was doing it to try to keep up on whatever reference I might need. It's probably not really necessary. So I've been mostly reading some weird Japanese comics that I've just found interesting. There's one that's called, what's it called? It's something Galco, but it's just basically teenagers in Japan going to school. It's like little 2-page vignettes of like, kids think this. It's just something embarrassing happens, and it turns, of course they're wrong. And it's just cute. I like the way it's drawn. There was one that I'm reading called Magical Girl Apocalypse, which the first issue was really upsetting and dire. It's just this kid going to school, and he's going to see the girl he likes, and then just like this doll girl just descends from the sky. She's got this mace and just starts walking around, and she just taps people on the head, and they explode. So she just decimates this high school, and it's just like, it's horrific and scary and kind of cool. And then it's like, I gotta find out what happens next issue. And then of course now it's up to issue 17 or something like that. And by issue 17, I mean, those books. Yeah. And it's not always drawn great, and the stories have gone completely out of shape. Like one of the survivors turns out to be the actual supervillain that was there all the time, but it's gotten really complicated, but I still can't stop reading it. I should. And there's another one that's called Freezing, which I was first attracted to because there's lots of pretty girls in it. But it's kind of like it's a weird one where like someone said, I have an idea for these super girls who fight these giant monsters. Let's do a book of that. And that was apparently all the planning that went into it. Because there's whole issues where the girls are in school just arguing about, how someone's family is rich and someone's family is poor, and how so-and-so doesn't belong in the school. And then the monsters show up like every once in a while for a few pages, and something horrible happens, but they're kind of like the X-Men, so yeah, there'll be, like one of the Supergirls will get cut in half. But they have really good doctors, so she gets fixed by next issue. I need more of that in my comics.
I can't say I've ever seen that one. I'll have to check.
It's good, I like it. It's not brilliant.
Now, you mentioned like Olivier.
Oh, Olivier's always really good.
Like I've been
He's
picking up
very
his
frustrating.
new
I've not seen it yet. I will.
Magic something or other,
Yeah.
Magic Order. I haven't read it, but it looks gorgeous.
No doubt.
Mostly my comic.
And he's a nice guy too.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Any other questions? And if not, Arthur is at table.
I have no idea.
Arthur's at Arthur's table,
Yes.
and he's got plenty of awesome prints for sale. He's got books to look through, and
Not too far from food court. I don't know how many food courts.
and
are in
right
there.
next to your wife. So there's
That's
that.
very convenient.
Yes.
Actually, so very nice. Right behind Ken Lashley,
Okay.
and I think Ray Capullo's occasionally behind me.
And
Klaus Janson is over there, and
Tom King.
Tom King is occasionally over there. He's a writer, which means he's a whiner. He's almost never there.
It's amazing how they get up and socialize all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't sit down to sign. Why, Tom? He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Arthur for.
Yeah. Thank you for spending an hour with us doing this.
And, have a great show.
Thank you.
Okay, let me get this.